Coach Prime talks about who the potential starter will be for the Buffs in 2025, how this wide receiver core matches up with last year's wide receiving core, and how he feels about this team in comparison to last year's team. He also does what Coach Prime does. Let's let one of the reporters know, I ain't talking to you. We know how you guys are. Let's roll and let's get after it, baby. Come on. Yes, sir. I love it. I love it. Media's day, it got the buzz kicking, seeing the coaches talking, seeing the players talk, just how they're feeling, the vibe, everything about it was fantastic. We got a lot to go over. We're going to be talking about how Coach Prime feels about this team. This is the first kind of really heard from him in quite some time. Obviously, he had that health issue that people were talking about. Where would he be at Big 12 Day? Was a question for a little bit. I thought that was kind of answered a little bit ago, but there was some panic about it anyways. He showed up, looked good, felt good, spoke good. Everything was good. Also, wide receiver core, he talks about this because, again, they had some dogs last year. I think he said 4 of those guys are playing in the NFL this year, just talks about the level of talent they had on that Colorado Buffs team. I think it got them out of a lot of trouble last year with just the ability to be so explosive with throwing the football. Obviously, they want to run the ball more, which he did speak to as well. And we'll kind of get into that when he compares these two teams from the last 2 years. But he said the wide receiver core is awesome. A lot of young guys are stepping up. He goes, look, we had a lot of guys that were good at just certain things, but this year we went out and got a couple more guys to fulfill those holes up, right? Maybe we had a dog here, and here. I had to go get 1 or 2 guys. The freshman guys that are coming in are extremely talented with a lot of upside. The guys that we brought in, really excited what they're going to be able to do. So great things to hear about this wide receiver core being much better, especially with bringing in an experienced quarterback in Kaidon Salter on top of a 5-star quarterback right behind him in Julian Lewis. You've got a lot of talent in that quarterback room that has an opportunity to explode in the Big 12 this year. But obviously a big question mark was like, hey, will they have the talent outside the markers like they did last year to help what seems to be a very competitive quarterback room? And yes, to Coach Prime, they do. He's feeling really good about it and loves every second of it. Now, as for the quarterback room, they go, hey, who's starting? He goes, I don't know. That's why they're both here. Going to figure that thing out come the season. I love it. I love the transparency. I think that's been kind of the conversation we've heard. I do believe that Salter will be the first to march out onto the football field. Georgia Tech's going to be a big matchup. Georgia Tech obviously took down FSU last year on the road in Ireland. They're all about these big games to kick things off. This will be another big one for Colorado to kick their season off. Is it a must-win? No, it's not an in-conference game, but I do believe that Colorado needs to hit the ground running, especially with the conference that they have, especially how much parity, if you will, is in the Big 12. So I do think Salter will play just because of experience, but also at the same time, both these guys you're learning this playbook for the very first time. Who can adapt better to that playbook will be a big question mark. Composure, obviously, I think Salter carries the edge and just from pure experience alone, but the ceiling, you got to think Julian Lewis or believe that Julian Lewis has a much bigger ceiling than Salter. So could we see this thing transition as the year goes on? We will see, but it was great and very, I think, reassuring to hear that, listen, we don't know who it is, and said it out loud to let both guys know this thing's wide open. Go and get it. Let me know, convince me why it should be you. The thing's still up for grabs. I think this will be kind of settled the first couple of weeks into spring ball. We'll have a better idea of it, which we'll talk about that as that thing shakes up a little bit. He also talked about getting Mike Zimmer on staff, which would be massive. We've heard Mike Zimmer has been a big part, I would say, off the field, right? As someone to speak to work with, to work for, or to work through, if you will. But talk about getting him on staff, more of a full-time guy, which I think would be absolutely massive. Love me some Mike Zimmer and what he would be able to do for this Colorado Buff team. So as to this team and what he feels it is, I love this. They asked about it, and it wasn't in the presser. It was on the ESPN panel with the gang, and said, how do you feel about this team compared to last year? And I want to make sure I get his quote right before I mess this up. He says, we don't have dogs like Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, right? Guys that were just great players. We had great players. We had better players then, but we are a better team now. And that's what you want to hear, especially after this transition, because this was a big transition. This was a big graduation for everybody, for Coach Brian, for his kids, right? Moving on, since he's been a coach essentially in the eye of college football. He's had his son with him. Both have had the two at each other's hips, and Travis Hunter for most of that time, along with Shiloh as well. So a lot of core pieces he's had throughout his coaching career, and to see this next chapter, this next step, and him feel this confident of like, look, we're very excited about it. Do we have the level of player that Hunter and Shedeur brought to the table? No, those are great guys. You don't fill those shoes, were his words, right? you replace that what's missing, and maybe you go get 2 or 3 guys to replace what they were able to do, but you don't fill those shoes. And that's what they've gone and done, whether it be with the portal or recruiting, since he feels good about this defense, feels that the defense is much better. And I got to believe that. Second year in the system, understanding the process is a little bit better, feels great about this offensive line. Says, look, last year we had to rely on the guys like Hunter. These guys make big plays because we couldn't run the ball effectively. That will not be a problem this year. We will be running the ball very effectively and as much as we can, especially with the new additions they've made on the coaching staff in regards to that too. So love, again, Coach Prime never really, I would say, lacks optimism, if you will, when it comes to his Colorado Buffs or how he feels this season will bode going into next season. But I do believe he's very honest. I do believe he's very transparent in how he thinks things are going to be. And every year, he comes into the season feeling very good about it. But I will say his first year, what was he excited about it? He was excited about the talent and the guys that were there and said, look, we got to do a lot. We got to go to the transfer portal and do some things. He was very transparent about that. That's exactly what they did. And it may not translate it onto the football fields for wins, but you saw that he was able to turn around very quickly. And then it was very, very transparent the following year. Hey, we learned a lot from this year. We had to just go fill the cupboard up. Now we're picking pieces up from here and there. Now we're going into the third year where they're really starting to build a culture. They're starting to lay a foundation and build on top of that. And I think that's where I know that's where this confidence is coming from, because the first 2 years we're figuring things out. Now, although, yes, we did lose some key pieces like the Hunters and Shadors and Shilohs and others, we still feel like we've created now a foundation that, although we may take a step back, we've grown here. And we'll continue to navigate. And that's how it is in college football. I mean, Coach Prime is the only one to lose a key player to his offense. Texas lost Quinn Ewers. That's been their guy for 3 years now. Ohio State lost their entire defensive line, essentially, their O-line, their star quarterback, right? This team played in a national championship. Texas lost a lot of key guys. Why is nobody asking them those questions? Well, it's because there's a ton of talent that sits behind him, right? I understand those things. That's a big factor to it, too. And Coach Prime in Colorado feel that, hey, the guys that we've been working with, developing, we feel they can be that next step. So, again, a lot of positivity, a lot of great things. Obviously, all these coaches feel really good about where their team is right now headed into this next year for the Big 12. And again, I said in an earlier video, the biggest thing right now that's been spoke about is parity. Right? The parity of the Big 12, that league being wide open for grabs. They didn't even do a vote like they did last year. They voted to see who would be the best teams for the Big 12, right? They ranked them 1 through 16. Arizona State ranked last, and obviously they ended up winning the whole dang thing. And I love this take from Commissioner Brett and why they didn't do it this year. I actually appreciate it very much, and I've said this about preseason rankings in general, that they have an influence on how people are perceiving these teams. And so Arizona State was ranked last. So Arizona State goes out week 1, gets a big W. It's like, that was a fluke. This team's projected to finish last from their own peers. Nobody expects them to do anything. We're not going to show this W any love. And they've got to scratch and claw to grab attention because of a preseason ranking that is just all opinion-based. That's just a feeling based on what they think this guy should do, has projection, and who they lost and what's going to drop down. But the biggest factor now is the transfer portal. They have no clue who they got out of the portal, and they knew who it is, but how that person is going to fit in that new system, how much of an impact he's going to make, right? None of those things are able to truly get a good gauge of it, and especially in the Big 12 when it is wide open. I said it all year last year. My biggest thing when they had Colorado at 16, I was like, this is crazy. This is asinine. Simply because we followed this team very closely. We felt very confident in the talent they were bringing back. I go, 6 wins seems like an easy shoe-in. This is crazy that was the metric, and obviously it was. And I go, I really think they have an opportunity to play in the Big 12 championship, and they were 1 game from playing in it. So that's what I love about the Big 12. I think the Big 12 is one of the more exciting conferences in college football because of the parity that is in it. I think Kansas State has a great opportunity to get it done. Love what Avery Johnson able to do. He's must-watch TV, in my opinion. I think Arizona going to take a step back, but they've got some talent, obviously, there in the quarterback room. TCU, who's just a few years removed from a national championship, they're looking to kind of get back to that national pedigree. Could they step into that limelight this year? They're a team that's going to be watching now. Oklahoma State might be in complete shambles, right? After being what was the favorite to win it last year. Utah seems to have taken a step back. Could they find a little bit of a rhythm? You never can sleep on Kyle. This is what makes the Big 12 great. So many conversational pieces, so many great teams to look at. Obviously, Texas Tech, everybody's eyeballs are on them because we know what they did last year. Another team that kind of took people by surprise and have added some absolute dogs when it comes to the portal and the recruiting. And that's why I love when Coach Prime said, it's cool when they do it, but it's a problem when I do it. When it's talking about, I mean, Texas Tech went doggone wild in the transfer portal and were applauded for it. Written about it all over the place. They're the best ever. This is going to be great. I get it. It's crazy. But when Coach Prime flipped their roster when he was showing up to, Texas Tech's been there and they flipping that thing because all of a sudden somebody came in with a blank check and said, do what you need to do. Go get it, big dog. By God, they going to go get it. I will tell you, though, these business guys don't have blank checks for a reason. And if that ROI don't come quick, then blank checks are going to go away quick, too. And them jobs, them seats, they going to heat up real quick, too. Look, I don't wish anybody bad on anybody, but you know what I'm saying. It can get dicey real quick. I hope you guys enjoy the content. I hope you guys are enjoying this. If you do, smash the like button, subscribe. We'll be dropping content all week long. We are right there, ladies and gentlemen. It is right around the corner. You can smell it. I'll see you on the next one, baby. Peace and love.